Police raid enormous cannabis factory hidden inside former casino. Thousands of plants on all 3 floors are worth millions. That's I mean, if you're gonna hide a cannabis growing facility inside of a casino, is kind of smart, to be fair. Police raided an enormous cannabis factory hidden inside a former casino and found thousands of plants worth millions across all 3 floors. Officers used chainsaws to smash their way into the disused Aspers Casino in Northampton Town Centre at around 9 a.m. on Thursday. Inside, they found hordes of plants in various stages of growth scattered all around the building on Commercial Street. Northamptonshire police said the find was one of the biggest cannabis factories in the country's history. They also discovered multiple doors bricked over and rooms reinforced with steel in a bid to keep police out. A 36-year-old man was arrested at the scene on suspicion of cultivating cannabis and remains in custody. Nick Davis-Lyons, neighborhood policing inspector on Northampton Central, said, We forced entry using specialist officers to gain access to the premises, and we've uncovered quite a large cannabis production operation. It was very big, it spans 3 floors. Obviously, we're really pleased to get this amount of drugs off the streets, but there's another side to it we need to focus on. Man, that looks cool as fuck, too. That looks really cool. They put a lot of effort into this. Like, I'm almost impressed. That's a really shitty looking casino, though. A production of this scale involves a lot of organization, and there will be an organized criminal group behind it. Quite often, they traffic and exploit people into operations like this, probably under threat of violence. And that's a side people don't often see. This isn't just about cannabis or seizing drugs, it's about identifying and targeting those who cause harm, exploit vulnerable people, and use them in operations like this. As we forced entry to the property, one male gave himself up to us, and he's now in custody, and the investigation into his involvement is ongoing. The setup here is very organized. Efforts have been made to keep the police out, with some doors being bricked over and rooms reinforced with steel. This morning was about making the scene safe so our specialists and scenes of crime officers could get in, recover evidence, and begin dismantling the setup. Everything now slows down so we can work methodically, carefully, and safely, maximizing what we can from the investigation while keeping our team safe. What do they even do with this amount of plants? Like, you can't burn it, because everyone would get crazy high. Like, what do you do with the plants?
I feel good. I'll be in there if you need me.
They burn it all in a series of controlled burns? Controlled burn makes sense. That kind of makes sense. At this stage, I don't have an estimate of the street value because we haven't completed a full count of the plants, but I'd personally estimate there are thousands in there. It's a very big operation. This warrant was led by the neighborhood team who've made a huge effort over the past 6 months to be more visible and engaged in the town. When we receive intelligence, we develop it as quickly as possible. And in this case, once we have the information, we acted swiftly to get in. Northamptonshire police spokeswoman added, police officers executed a warrant at the old casino building on Commercial Street, Northampton, at about 9 a.m. this morning. A large cannabis grow was discovered inside with plants in various stages of growth. One arrest has been made, and officers are now working to clear the location and make the building safe. I don't know. That's a fuck ton of weed. I just thought that was crazy. Migrant camp in Spain is also from Halloween. Man, I had a lot of Daily Mail on Halloween. 4 illegal migrants, 3 of whom were supposed to have been deported, are arrested for gang raping a student in Spain. As you know, this is just part and parcel of living in a European city in current year. 4 illegal North African migrants have been arrested on suspicion of gang raping and robbing a Spanish student found abandoned semi-conscious on a park footpath. The Algerian men! That's been happening a lot recently. Like, it's been overwhelmingly Algerian the past couple of times we've covered this. We're living in tents in the northern Spanish city of Pamplona after dodging expulsion orders. At least 3 of them had been told they could no longer stay in the country, but the orders were never executed. Why? Why? An investigating judge remanded them in prison yesterday, 2 days after their arrest, despite them protesting their innocence, after deciding they were a flight risk and concluding there were inconsistencies in their statements. Imagine my shock that people here, or there, rather, illegally, would lie about something else. How shocking! Who could have seen this coming? Their alleged victim's phone and underwear is said to have been found at the illegal camp in the city, famous for its San Fermin festival featuring daily bull runs. The camp by the River Arga, which had been pictured in local press, has now been dismantled. Police launched a manhunt for the student's sex attackers after she was found by passers-by last Friday night. She is thought to have been heading home from a university party when she was intercepted. The judge who caged the men, aged between 25 and 33, described in a prison ruling how the young woman, whose age has not been made public, was found abandoned on a footpath on top of leaves, helpless, confused, and semi-conscious. Her bag contained her mobile and purse and was missing along with her underwear. Based on hospital records, or reports rather, the investigating judge has concluded she was the victim of non-consensual sex, pending the results of DNA tests set to confirm or rule out the implication of the 4 detainees. The suspects' phones have also been seized so police can analyze them to see if they made any compromising recordings. One of the men held reportedly has a criminal record, although not for sex crimes. The horrific crime has caused consternation in Pamplona, the scene of the infamous so-called Wolfpack gang rape case during July 2016 San Fermin celebrations, in which the victim was an 18-year-old girl. 5 Spanish men, including a civil guard officer and a soldier, were found guilty in the sex attack. Students in Pamplona gathered on Wednesday at their campus to condemn the latest incident and show their solidarity with the victim. Pamplona City Hall also organized a minute's silence yesterday. A spokeswoman said it was to show our total rejection of the sex attack that occurred at the weekend. I think what's really interesting is they said that she was intercepted. Like, maybe this is just a poor translation, right? Maybe it's just a poor translation from Spanish, but like, it's weird to say intercepted instead of attacked in this instance. You don't see how any woman in Europe thinks it's a good idea to walk around at night, let alone drunk alone? Literally zero self-preservation instincts somehow. Some women also need to stop voting to support this shit. It's very, very weird to keep voting for the things that continuously make you unsafe, I'm gonna be honest. Trump posing radical healthcare shakeup that would bypass insurers and hand cash directly to millions of Americans. He's saying again, like, he's gonna give out like $2,000 stimulus checks because of the tariffs and the money that they're bringing in. I don't know how good of an idea that might be. Getting the stimmy checks was fun, right? But it also had some repercussions. So it's I don't know. They're already walking that back. Yeah, I was like, I don't know if that's such a good idea at the moment. Could you just stop taxing me instead? True and real. Can we just stop taxing as much? President Donald Trump has proposed a radical new healthcare plan that would hand money directly to Americans instead of to insurers. The president said he was recommending the proposal for Senate Republicans to consider as the longest government shutdown in history entered day 39 on Saturday. This is from November 8th, a couple of days ago. In a post on Truth Social, Trump, 79, why did they put his age, said the government should stop sending federal funds to money-sucking insurance companies in order to save the bad healthcare provided by Obamacare. True, I can agree with that. Instead, it should go directly to the people so that they can purchase their own much better healthcare and have money left over. In other words, take from the big bad insurance companies, give it to the people, and terminate per dollar spent. He added that he believes Obamacare is the worst healthcare anywhere in the world. Obamacare is really fucking bad, and I think the most depressing thing was when Trump first got into office, and one of the first things that he did back in 2016 was getting rid of the fine that you had to pay if you were making too much money to be able to get on Obamacare, but making not enough money to be able to afford any other kind of healthcare. And so you were forced to pay I don't make enough money, but I'm also too poor fine in order to fund healthcare for other people. I had to pay that fine. That fucking sucked. So it was great when Trump was like, yeah, we're gonna get rid of that. Fuck that. Fuck off. And then he was like, okay, Republicans, what is your plan for overturning Obamacare? What do you have for me? What is your healthcare plan? And all the Republicans just kind of shrugged and said, well, we never really thought about it. And it's like, you guys have been bitching about Obamacare for how many fucking years now? And you came up with literally fucking nothing? Holy shit. Republicans passing real bills, not. Yeah, just literal spineless do-nothings who are there to fill their own pockets, essentially. Like, the Democrats actually do things, even if I dislike the things that they do, because they are in the path of destroying the country, essentially. So as I get to vote for someone who will destroy the country, or someone who will say nice things, but then never actually act on them. It's fucking tiring. It is unclear how exactly Trump's plan would work. Private healthcare is typically offered through employers or through the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. It's also unclear who is eligible to receive the money Trump is proposing, how to obtain it, or how much each recipient would receive. This is his Truth Social post. talking about how spend the money on the people directly, not to the insurance companies. The Daily Mail reached out to the White House for comment. The ACA got its nickname when former President Barack Obama signed it into law in 2010. It allows citizens under the age of 26 to stay on their parents' insurance, as well as prohibiting insurers from denying coverage based on pre-existing conditions. Now, it's been a while since I've talked about fucking Obama's shitty-ass healthcare, so someone can feel free to correct me if I am wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure you were able to stay on your parents' insurance longer than 26 before he instituted this. This was actually detrimental to people and trying to encourage them to get on Obamacare. So prior to him instituting this limit, you could be on your parents' insurance even longer. Okay, thank you, Chad. I'm not misremembering. That's great. That's great. I love remembering things correctly. Patchouli, thank you. Fun fact, what made Obamacare constitutional was the fact that individual mandate was determined to be a tax. Now that the tax is gone, why is the law still there, Donnie? That's a good point. Good question. If you don't like your plan, you can keep your plan. Fuck you, Obama. Thanks, Obama. It's most well known for allowing people who do not have access to healthcare to purchase ACA-compliant plans, as well as expanding who is eligible for Medicaid to include low-income adults. The government has been shut down since October 1st, the longest in U.S. history. The second longest shutdown happened during Trump's first term, lasting 35 days. Democrats are asking Republicans for a one-year extension to the ACA subsidies package, as the GOP's plan could affect millions. Trump has refused to negotiate with Democrats over their demands to salvage expiring health insurance subsidies until they agree to reopen the government. But Democrats are skeptical over whether he will keep his word, particularly after the administration restricted SNAP food aid, despite court orders to ensure funds are available to prevent hunger. They wanted to take funds from WIC, which is less fraudulent, right? Like you have less ability to defraud a WIC program. It's just more strict, I suppose. And that WIC is specifically for women with children, so it's for the children. And they wanted to take funds from WIC to fund SNAP, which is rife with fraud and people erroneously getting thousands of dollars that they should not be getting. Democrats are just fucking crazy at this point. On Tuesday, Election Day, Republicans saw many major losses in big races, including in the New York City mayoral race, which saw Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani take the win in the Big Apple. Mickey Sherrill also pulled a win in neighboring New Jersey, beating her Republican counterpart, Jack Ciattarelli. Virginia also elected a Democrat and its first female governor when Abigail Spanberger won. Abigail Spanberger being the lady who said that she stands behind Jay Jones, who wants to see Republicans shot and their children die in their arms. California's controversial Proposition 50 also won, allowing it to redistrict and making it easier to send 5 more Democrats to Congress. The major losses for the Republican Party had the conservative president reconsidering his party's strategies about the shutdown, which he considered played a big role in the letdown. What was a big role in the letdown is that everyone is looking at Republicans to fucking do something. Democrats are openly campaigning on platforms of killing conservatives and they're getting elected. Instead of crying about group chats and tweeting about you don't know how bad things really are, you are elected officials. You can actually do fucking something. So fucking do it. That's why you're losing. Why would anyone be motivated to vote for a guy that is not going to do anything against these people? If you want to win, if you want to have a Republican in a seat, fucking do something. For once in your worthless rhino life, holy shit. Point sticks at Republicans, do something. That's literally all you need to do. Something. Like, I feel like I'm losing my mind. Do something. That's literally it. It's a Republican shutdown. How could the Democrats cave and end the shutdown? These people are so dumb it hurts. It's a Democrat shutdown because Republicans wouldn't give them subsidies for illegal immigrants on the healthcare. But everyone only sees Republicans are in the White House and they control part of the Congress. So therefore it must be their fault because they don't pay attention to politics. They just listen to the news. Already the most attractive woman control. I just get so angry. All they do is like wring their fucking wrists and cry about losses, but they won't do anything. It's maddening. It's like watching a friend of yours like hurt themselves over and over again, and you're like, hey buddy, maybe you should stop doing the thing that hurts yourself. And they're like, oh, but if I don't stop hurting myself, then what about my opponents? Shut the fuck up and do something. Holy shit. If not controlled opposition, then why controlled opposition shaped? You know the feeling? Oh, my Democrat PR is strong. Everything Republicans do is racist and fascist. They need to stop fucking caring about the optics. They already want you dead. Democrats are getting elected saying they want your constituents and you dead. You're past the part of fucking optics mattering. Do something! California's controversial Prop 50, major losses for the Republican Party had the conservative president reconsidering his party strategies. I think if you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor. Negative for the Republicans. Yes! Yes, because you don't fucking do anything! The ACA subsidies at the center of the shutdown are income-based and help partially cover premium costs for some enrollees. Subsidies are paid on a sliding scale between those who make 100% to 400% over the federal poverty line, which currently stands at $15,650 for an individual and $32,150 for a family. Most states allow those who make under 100% of the FPL to enroll in Medicaid. The American Rescue Plan and the Inflation Reduction Act increases the subsidies starting in 2021 and are set to expire at the end of this year. The extra subsidies covered 100% of the premiums for those making between 100% and 150% of the FPL. And again, it's a little weird to continue extending subsidies that are set to run out. Like, the FHA was supposed to stop paying for people's mortgages under the guise of, like, COVID relief in April, and that was already pushed back from September of last year, and then Trump pushed it back again to September of this year. So we finally have hit the FHA no longer paying for people's mortgages that they can't afford because they're fucking retarded. But it got pushed back so many times, and why did that happen? The subsidies are mainly paid directly to the insurers from the government, and taxpayers reconcile it through tax returns. It cost the government around $138 billion this year. The amount rises each year as healthcare becomes more expensive and the number of people who use ACA plans, I guess they meant to say increases. To extend the subsidies another 10 years, it would cost the government an estimated $350 billion. A 2-year extension would cost around $60 billion. Democrats are now proposing a 1-year extension of the subsidies, but it was promptly shut down by Republicans. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer proposed the plan on Friday, which would have included establishing a bipartisan committee that would negotiate the subsidies further after reopening the government. Democrats are ready to clear the way to quickly pass a government funding bill that includes healthcare affordability. Leader John Thune just needs to add a clean 1-year extension of the Obamacare tax credits to the CR, continuing resolution, so that we can immediately address rising healthcare costs. No! No, he does not. People who already struggle to afford healthcare should not be subsidizing other people's healthcare. It makes no fucking sense. That's not a negotiation, it's an extension of our current law, something we do all the time around here. Thune later called the plan a non-starter, and Republicans rejected the plan as it would continue sending federal funds to insurance companies. We're not going to continue for a year to load up insurance companies with taxpayer dollars to get an inferior outcome, Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina said. So like, I don't know what Trump's plan would even realistically do. Like, I don't know how you would hand cash to Americans in order to buy healthcare. I don't know how that would work. So I'd be interested in hearing an explanation of what he possibly means by this. Chinese woman 72 who swam 8 hours to escape communism said she's disgusted her children are voting for Mamdani. An elderly Chinese immigrant who swam for 8 hours to flee the country's communist regime said she's appalled that her children are casting votes for Zohran Mamdani in the New York City mayoral election. Song Yin, 72, believes her 2 grown sons do not see the perils of the Democratic Socialist candidate's far-left policies, which she described as an alarmingly reminiscent of the circumstances she risked her life to escape nearly 50 years ago. I mean, I feel like when you have someone in your family who's gone through this shit, you should have enough stories to deter you from this shit for literally ever. But also, if I was like a grandparent in this position, couldn't I just like ship them to China for like a year? You know, be like, yeah, if you really want to vote for this stuff, just go live over there for like a year, you know, see how it works out, right? Socialism has been a disaster, Song told the New York Times. Everything I've seen and experienced points to that. It breeds laziness and kills the motivation to strive. Song embarked on the risky journey from Shenzhen, a small fishing village in China, to Hong Kong in 1976. To evade the leadership of the Chinese Communist Party led by Chairman Mao Zedong. She was one of the millions of refugees from mainland China who made the grueling trip to Hong Kong, then a British colony, between the 1950s and 1970s in pursuit of a life free from hunger and oppression. And I mentioned her a couple of times too, but Lily Lily Williams in New Hampshire is also someone who has escaped the CCP and runs on a conservative platform of we should never see this kind of shit happening here. In 1978, Song and her husband came to America and settled in New York City's Chinatown. With less than $200 in their pockets, the couple worked tirelessly to create the life they had dreamed of. Song became a reporter for a Chinese language outlet, and her husband founded a telecom business. Their sons went on to receive prestigious college educations, with one graduating from Cornell University and the other from MIT. Song, who is a 3-time Donald Trump voter and cast an early ballot for Andrew Cuomo in the mayoral election, told The Times that her children are Ivy League types, well-intentioned but naive. She said they are blinded by Mamdani's promises of free bus fares and affordable housing, and fail to see the unsettling similarities between his initiatives and communism. I mean, he calls himself a democratic socialist, man. Like, you don't even need to know any of the policies to know that is what that is. Song represents a growing group of Chinese New Yorkers shifting to the right in their political beliefs. A Times analysis of the 2022 New York gubernatorial race revealed that predominantly Asian neighborhoods across the city's 5 boroughs shifted 23% to the right from 2018. I mean, she voted for Cuomo, which hopefully she voted for him because that other guy had literally 0 chance of winning. But if she had been voting for him prior to this, she was kind of expediting her city going down the socialist route in the first place. Cuomo, the Democrat ex-New York governor who resigned in 2021 amid sexual harassment allegations, has the support of Trump, who recently said he preferred him over Mamdani in a 60 Minutes interview. Yeah, once again, hopefully this is the same reasoning from the lady. Joey Zhang, a Brooklyn Democrat, told The Times that he does not believe in the sweeping handouts that Mamdani has based his campaign on. Like Song, Zhang cannot understand why her children are on board with Mamdani. The US has changed in recent years. It wants people to believe that everyone deserves the same, no matter the effort. But life doesn't work that way. Zhang, who moved from Fujian, China in 2003, told The Times. And this is also like, I got like this all the time on Twitter with people reposting my like happy Otoya Yamaguchi day when Otoya Yamaguchi murdered a communist politician who was a Maoist trying to bring Maoist policies into Japan. And it's like, yeah, that is me. If you are a Maoist communist trying to subvert a nation and bring policies that would essentially genocide a massive portion of the population, that's a good thing that you weren't able to do that. Anyone who argues that that is a bad thing and that guy should have been allowed to run is crazy. It's like, again, would you prefer that Hitler was still alive? Like, I don't understand that you would want genocidal maniac politicians to actually be doing something. Removing communists from the earth is a good thing, actually. Absolutely. And it's like, even after that, even Otoya Yamaguchi doing something in the interest of his nation to save it, he still felt bad enough after taking someone else's life. He killed himself in prison and begged for forgiveness after disembowelment. So he still understood that regardless of that, it was still a bad thing to do. Crazy how that works. Hitler wasn't even close to the death toll. He wasn't even close to the death toll of communism, but that's the only way, like, some people are going to listen to when you say communism bad. Because half the time when you say communism bad, people are like, but what about Hitler? It's like, well, fuck that guy too. Like, what do you mean? Sometimes good men need to do bad things. I've had that tweet taken out of context too. It's just like, it's crazy that I literally say in the tweet, sometimes reasonable men must do unreasonable things, implying that the things being done are unreasonable and shouldn't be done under normal circumstances. And yet people are just like, oh, Kirsche praises this stuff. And it's like, what the do you have 0 English comprehension? Holy shit. Mamdani, 34, who was vowed to tax the rich to fund his progressive programs, has been dominating the polls leading up to Tuesday's election. Spencer Kimball, executive director of Emerson College Polling, said Mamdani's lead is built on a coalition across key demographics in the city, including increasing his lead with black voters. Since September, Mamdani has increased his support among black voters from 50 to 71%, while Cuomo has dropped 10% during the same time. Mamdani's base is also aided by massive support among young voters, with 69% of those under 50 revealing plans to vote for him. Cuomo has garnered considerable support from East Asians, according to the Library of Congress Preservation's ASAM News. I guess that's Asian American news. But the majority are expected to continue supporting Mamdani. Roughly 1.4 million people living in New York City are Asian American and Pacific Islander, according to U.S. Census data. Chinese Americans alone account for 8% of the city's total population. Mamdani won a lot of districts like Flushing, Queens, and Manhattan Chinatown over Cuomo, but it was close. It was very competitive. Trip Yang, a Democratic strategist based in New York, told ASAM News. According to polling done by JL Partners on October 30th, Mamdani has maintained a significant lead on his opponents, Cuomo and Republican candidate Curtis Sliwa. Mamdani had the support from 42% of voters, while Cuomo trailed with 29%. Sliwa's supporters only account for 19% of those who have already cast their ballot, according to the poll. Rhinos and Dems hate this one easy trick to counteract their influence. Step 1, don't turn down the temperature. No matter how Asman tries to put it, this is a racial issue. Every other race will make decisions based on race. It's a little interesting. There's been some neat tweets. So after Trump talked about the persecution and killing of Christians in Nigeria. This was on November 5th. Some guy, Somto Okonkwo, said, "Killing of Christians, the Nigeria Air Force is ready to face President Trump and the American military. We control our skies and no one will enter our airspace," a Nigerian Air Force officer wrote on TikTok while posting this video. And I think this was Trump saying that they would begin like military action if the persecution and murder of Christians did not stop. I remember covering that tweet ages ago. So the sequel to Who Killed Captain Alex is shaping up to look pretty interesting. I can't wait for it to be a box office hit, but really weird gusto to be like, look at our one plane, American military. We'll keep persecuting those Christians. They're like 2 generations of aircraft behind us. And it's one plane. You poor fools, our missiles don't just aim for the plane, they aim for the cockpit. I was like, I don't fucking, what the hell, man? That's crazy. That's crazy. There was a New Hampshire's first transgender elected representative, Stacey Lawton, pleaded guilty to child exploitation charges. He reportedly asked his partner who worked in a daycare to send him nude photos of kids. Eric Swalwell campaigned with him. And this is Eric Swalwell with the pedophile here saying, campaign 2022, Lawton for state rep, let's get started. Look, man, I know New Hampshire is in New England, and New England is famously known for like, you know, that, what's the guy with the N-word cat? I always forget his name, Lovecraft, there we go. That's how I try to remember his name, thanks, Bran. I know we're known for like Lovecraftian fucking horrors, but why would you elect one to represent your state? Like, come on, man. Look at this guy. He is not fit to be in a position to have any say in what's fucking going on. Actually crazy. Things didn't age well. Thankfully, he was caught. What is this? This is like a weird 3D video. New Hampshire transgender rep Stacey Lawton pleaded guilty to child exploitation charges. He will be sentenced in February and faces up to 30 years in prison. Beto O'Rourke and Eric Swalwell campaigned with Stacey Lawton, the transgender New Hampshire state rep, who just pleaded guilty to child exploitation charges after reportedly asking his partner, who worked at a daycare, to send him nude pictures of kids. That's crazy. That's crazy. Imagine. And I have an article here just so we can get some more information. Former New Hampshire state representative enters guilty plea in connection to child sex abuse image cases. Like maybe this is like the portrait of femininity somewhere like deep in England, but like what the fuck, man? Come on. Former New Hampshire state rep Stacey Lawton pleaded guilty in federal court in Boston to charges including sexual exploitation of a child in child sex abuse images. I remember tweeting a picture of this fucking freak at Travis, who's another Republican rep in New Hampshire. Like, I guess part of this, like, he was arrested like ages ago and now he's finally being charged and pleading guilty. Because I remember Travis saying something about this, and I posted a picture of this fucking freak and I was like, he gives me Chris Chan vibes, man. This plea comes after her former partner, Lindsay Groves, admitted last month to taking sexually explicit photos of children at the Massachusetts daycare where she worked and sending them to Lawton. So what's gonna happen to her? Because she actually took the pictures. Like, it's good that the pedophile is getting sent away, but what about the pedophile enabler? All right, okay. Federal investigators said 4 photos of children who appeared to be between 3 and 5 years old were sent to Lawton. Officials said Lawton asked Groves for the photos and the two exchanged thousands of text messages about them. Lawton was elected to the New Hampshire House 3 times, but resigned twice over separate legal issues. I kind of want to know what district, right? Because if this guy was in a district that had a massive amount of Massachusetts transplants, that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense. And I really like the "Don't Mass Up New Hampshire" slogan, especially as someone who was a born and bred Massachusetts person and fucking hates to see what has happened and the dire state of that state. I don't want New Hampshire to just become a second fucking Massachusetts, right? From everyone fleeing what they voted for in mass and then voting for it again in New Hampshire, right? Like, I don't want to see that happen. Please leave me one state to flee to, as it were. When they said that his partner ratted on him, you're about to say good on her for reporting him at least, but then you thought to wait, and wow. Yeah, sometimes you gotta wait. Both Lawton and Groves are scheduled to be sentenced in February. Thank you for saying that. I would have completely missed that fucking sentence. Travis quoting this video here, and I thought it was really funny that he quotes and says, "When we cut welfare payments, people in the ghetto start using their own money to feed their families and have to cut back on eyebrow waxings." Really makes you think. That really gets those almonds activated. Really jogging your noggin there, man. And this video is from Defiant L. CNN's Ashley Allison says Snap is having a massive impact after she went to her eyebrow technician, who told her that they had to fire people because clients don't have money to do their brows. The whore. You know what I did when I couldn't afford to get my nails done from a nail tech? I did my nails myself. I painted my nails myself. I filed my nails myself. What? It's actually wild that we're supposed to feel bad for people having to spend their own money on frivolous things, or having to spend their own money on buying themselves food instead of having Snap. Like, what?
This is having massive impact. I went and got my eyebrows done the other day, and my eyebrow technician was like, they're gonna fire 2 technicians from here because all of our clients don't have money to come.
Oh, I'm gonna come.
Do not come.
I'm gonna do it.
Universal Ostrich Farms in Edgewood, BC. That's your Canadian government right there that just did this. I went to Bosnia, Somalia, and Afghanistan, and I did not serve my country for the bullshit that's in front of us. The government committed their own fucking atrocity, said Sergeant Mike Rude, now retired. And these are ostrich corpses. Apparently, a lot of them were also beheaded. The ostrikost. I wonder if there's gonna be anything said or if it's just gonna pan over the ostriches. Oh, yeah, there's talking over here.
That's your Canadian government right there that just did this. I went to Bosnia, Somalia, and Afghanistan. And I did not fucking serve my country for this bullshit that's fucking in front of us. right? The government has committed their own fucking atrocity, this Canadian government, right?
Rude Awakening podcast. I don't know who that is, but it appears that many of the massacred birds at Universal Ostrich Farms have been beheaded. And I was like, what the fuck? Why were so many ostriches killed? So I looked it up. Healthy ostriches slaughtered. Outrageous 300 healthy ostriches are executed by firing squad after infectious disease claims. A holding pen that just one day earlier housed 300 ostriches now contains their tarp-covered bodies after officials carried out a slaughter late Thursday night. The pen sits on the grounds of Universal Ostrich Farms in British Columbia, Canada, which had been locked in a legal battle with federal officers over a government-ordered cull. Katie Pasitny, daughter of farm owner Karen Pasitny, sobbed while telling the Daily Mail about the loss of the birds, saying they made a mistake. These animals aren't poultry. Some of them were 35 years old, and every single one had a name. My mom lost everything she loved. Those birds were all that kept her happy. They killed all her babies, and now they're lying there under a tarp. The deaths came months after the Canadian Food Inspection Agency began investigating the farm, following an anonymous report in December that alleged roughly 30 ostrich deaths within 3 weeks. Hot take. I don't think you should be able to kill an entire farm's worth of animals based on a single anonymous tip. That's kind of wild. Subsequent testing confirmed 2 birds had contracted H5N1 avian influenza, a highly contagious strain of bird flu. Agency records showed deaths continued through mid-January, ultimately totaling 69. Pasitny recently pleaded with the Supreme Court of Canada to halt the cull, insisting the birds were healthy and posed no threat to public safety. Around 6 p.m. local time on Thursday, trucks and SUVs belonging to the agency arrived at the farm. Several men were seen carrying equipment into the enclosures. The sound of repeated gunfire echoed across the property as supporters gathered outside, praying and shouting for the birds. By Friday morning, the Pasitnys awoke to find their ostrich bodies littering the pen. They're all gone. They need to pay for this. The world needs to know the monsters that they are, Pasitny told the Daily Mail. They brought war to our farm last night just to kill healthy animals. When did we stop valuing life? You can't just keep killing everything. The Daily Mail has contacted CFIA for comment. Canada's highest court on Thursday ended a months-long legal battle to save hundreds of ostriches exposed to avian influenza, a fight that had drawn international attention and even the support of the U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. The Supreme Court of Canada declined to hear an appeal filed by the owners of Universal Ostrich Farms, who had sought to overturn a federal order mandating the cull of their flock. The decision effectively cleared the final legal hurdle preventing authorities from moving forward. In a statement, the CFIA said that it will now proceed with depopulation and disposal measures to contain the spread of H5N1 avian influenza, following an outbreak in December 2024 that killed 69 birds at the British Columbia farm. RFK Jr. had publicly urged Canadian officials to reconsider the cull, arguing that the ostriches could provide valuable scientific data. In an open letter to the CFIA, he wrote that the indiscriminate destruction of entire flocks without up-to-date testing and evaluation can have significant consequences, including the loss of valuable genetic stock that may help explain risk factors for H5N1 mortality. Which is true. Which is very true. Like, why weren't they tested? The U.S. Health Secretary's plea echoed by animal welfare advocates and high-profile supporters, including television personality Dr. Mehmet Oz and New York billionaire John Katsimatidis, called for a reprieve that would allow researchers to study the birds' immune response rather than destroy them. Dr. Oz, who runs Medicare and Medicaid, even offered to adopt the birds at his 900-acre ranch in Okeechobee, Florida, but his rescue plan was quashed. That's also insane that we had multiple, very rich, high-profile people in the U.S. offering to take in the birds if Canada wouldn't still the cull order, and that was even rejected. That's a little crazy. That's a little crazy. Canadian authorities, however, have maintained that the cull was necessary to prevent further spread of the virus, which poses a serious threat to both wild and domestic bird populations. Beyond the emotional devastation, the farmers said the cull will also bring ruinous financial losses. The Canadian government's compensation offer, they claim, falls far short of the birds' true market value and threatens to destroy their biotechnology venture. Struthio Bioscience Inc., named after Struthio, the genus for ostriches. The company pivoted in 2020 from selling ostrich meat and oil to developing antibodies known as immunoglobulin Y, extracted from egg yolks. These antibodies are thought to have potential in combating diseases ranging from influenza to obesity. And now we know the real reason why the Canadian government could not let these birds live. Very interesting. Very interesting thing to have at the end of the article here. Pisitny told the Daily Mail that prior to the CFIA reporting the bird flu tip, she and her family petitioned the government for funding to progress research in ostrich egg yolks. We provided antibodies for COVID and H5N1 avian influenza in the egg yolks, she said. Even COVID, eh? Even COVID. Canada was like, you know what? If we let these birds live, if this research continues, we might not make as much money off of made and selling people's organs. So we can't let the birds live. I fucking hate this, man. They killed the antibodies. Yeah, they killed the antibodies with them. So like all of that could have been helpful for science and biotech just obliterated because Canada's fucking awful. Chet, thank you. The farm was working with researchers in Japan to study antibodies to treat both bird flu and COVID. The government and their friends just invested in a massive Moderna factory in Quebec. Can't have competition. That's bad for business. You will never have enough hatred for both journalists and the government. Not this particular journalist. I'm glad that Stacy here reported on the ostriches, but you know, just in general. So we had these World War II veterans. Good Morning Britain here reporting. What we fought for was our freedom. Even now, the country is worse than it was when I fought for it, says 100-year-old World War II veteran Alec Penstone. And Connor Tomlinson over here saying, I'm sorry the sacrifice wasn't worth the result. Nothing sums up modern Britain better than a World War II veteran lamenting what our country has become, being patronized by a woman who married an architect of Blair's government and a man who said yesterday that he wants Sharia law.
What does Remembrance Sunday mean for you? What is your message?
My message is, I can see in my mind's eye those rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
Considering the death toll from Western nations in World War II, I could not even begin to imagine what someone like this man feels to have seen his friends, his countrymen die all around him fighting for something that they believed in, that they believed would help their nation, would bolster their nation, would bolster their allied ties, and ending up with a ruined nation with people in power actively advocating against the interests of the native Britons. It's very similar in the US, where our politicians no longer care about Americans, they care about everyone who isn't an American and how they can loot our country. I cannot imagine losing so many years of your life, surviving a war, watching your friends die, and then watching the nation that you thought you were going to preserve also die. It is a wild thing to hear, and it would be very interesting what these men would say to their younger selves if they had the ability to do so.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
What do you mean by that, though, at this point?
What we fought for, and what we fought for was our freedom. We find that even now it's darn sight worse than what it was when I fought for it.
Unfortunately.
Oh, Alec, I'm sorry you feel like that, because I want you to know that all the generations that have come since, including me and my children, are so grateful for your bravery and all that for service personnel.
Why would they be grateful? Are they grateful to have to worry about being stabbed or raped every time they go outside? What is there to be fucking grateful for at this point? At least we're not speaking German, am I right? These patronizing fucks, yeah.
And it's our job now, isn't it, to make it the country that you fought for. You absolutely fought for.
They're not gonna make it that country, and he knows that. They're actively trying to create something that he would have fought against back in the day.
Is it?
And we will do. We want to...
I'm so wonderful to know there are people like you that can spread the word around.
We will do.
Younger generation.
And I guarantee that everybody watching at home will be wanting you to send lots of love. We've got another little bit special thing for you, Alec. We've got the D-Day darlings here. Come on over, guys. You've got a little special present for him.
Ooh.
Come and give it if you can.
Oh, I hate that tone. He's an old fucking man. He's not a child. Why are you... Ooh! Oh my God, dude. This poor guy. Yeah, it's so fucking patronizing. The man looks so sad. I feel bad for him that he's going to die knowing that everything he fought for hastened the destruction of his nation instead of protecting it. And that's incredibly depressing.
To thank you for all your many brave years of service and others like you.
This is our album, Alec, and I know you love a lot of the songs on there. And this is the least we can do. This is such a small thing, but you know, we love you so much, Alec.
And it's all signed for you there as
These
well.
young ladies are like my own daughters.
And I'm sure the people who like LARPing as the, oh, didn't you know that we were the anti-fascists in World War II? Well, yeah, we were, but I'm sure you people would also call this man a fucking Nazi. You cannot write a better tragic comedy. It's incredibly depressing. Your life sacrifice meant nothing, but here, have a music album. Yep. Using veterans like this as a prop is also kind of like, man, there's another tab here I have on this. World War II veteran regrets fighting. This is not what they died for.
I am so upset that the things we did, the things we fought for, and the boys that died for it, it's all gone down the drain. Our country's gone to hell in a handbasket. That's not what our boys, that's not what they died for. I just, this is not it.
Don't need the music. Yeah, I don't like the emotional music, but I can't help what music people put in their videos. I saw someone in chat say that this video is a couple years old. I've been encountering this so fucking recently on Twitter, where like people will post older videos and it's relevant and you shouldn't forget this, obviously. But like, at least put that it's a couple years old, man. I hate it so much. And there's that one like Wall Street Apes account. All they do is post old videos. Every time I have to post it to my mods, I'm like, hey, when did this happen? And they're like, oh, this is from like 2017. And I'm like, fuck, man. I hate it. I hate when people post things acting like it's a recent thing. Like, yes, don't forget these things. Yes, this is an important video. Yes, it's relevant to the other World War II veteran that just happened the other day. But at least put that it's a few years old, man, you know? Stripping the date context makes it motive suspect. Yeah, it's getting really hard. It's getting really hard to continuously vet the videos all over Twitter because so many people are doing it. You're never too old or weak. As long as you still have breath, you can fight for the freedom of future generations. Stand for the Republic. As long as you have breath to speak, you can change minds. It's just like, I don't know, you know? Like, I wouldn't want... I think what was fought for in World War II was a good idea, but allying with the communists was not a good idea. And the amount of subversion and infiltration done by communists to our nation since then has been incredibly detrimental and basically nullified what people were fighting for back then. Many British vets were already disillusioned with their country 20 years ago. They had no idea. Again, Bezmenov warned about everything that we have been living through in our lifetimes back in the 80s. And not enough people either heeded his warning or even listened to it, because instead of trying to stop the spread of communism and instead of trying to reverse what the long march through our institutions had done, we have just been rocketing further and further into a place where I really hope that the New York City election is the last one. But again, if Republicans are going to do absolutely nothing, we're kind of stuck. We're kind of stuck. And like, I can't say glowy things, man. So it's like, I just hope that people in the position to do something start fucking doing it. Bring back McCarthyism. McCarthy did not go far enough. And this is also an older video. This is from February 18th, 2025. Hamzi Warfa, a Somalian refugee and Joe Biden appointee, boasts of changing U.S. immigration rules and policies, which solely benefited Somalia. And I mean, thankfully, libs of TikTok reposted this in the way where I could click on that and see the source and see that it was slightly older. So at least we had that, but it's like, this is relevant to what's been going on in Minnesota and like Hamtramck and some of those other places. Top Biden State Department advisor who's from Somalia boasts about changing immigration rules. I am most proud of, in the last year of Trump's term, only 11,000 refugees were allowed in. We have changed immigration rules for the first time in 40 years. Last year, 2024, more than 100,000 people were allowed in. And that was tangible success. Furthermore, the previous government, Biden, was the most supportive government in history to Somalia and the government of Somalia. It played a major role in strengthening government institutions in Somalia.
in dowladda iyo maaragtay waddanka Soomaaliya uu hoggaankiisa iyo maaragtay nidaamkiisa dawliga ah haykalkiisa dawladnimeed uu hana qaado.
I feel like he said a lot, but then that subtitle didn't change. I was waiting for a hot minute there. For example, the lifting of sanctions in Somalia, the previous government, Biden, took the lead.
Maraykanka uu cunaqabateynta laga qaado Soomaaliya, Maraykanku isaga laf dhabar u ahaa xukuumaddii hadda tagtay maaragtay kamidka ahaa.
America also played a major role in Somalia's debt forgiveness. They canceled $1.14 billion, as the government of Somalia has confirmed so many times. Once again, Keir Starmer and Hillary Clinton have both said that politicians are doing this on purpose. They are inviting these refugees and these illegals on purpose. It is by design. These are things that those politicians have said on the national stage. It is not conspiracy theory to say something that a politician has quite literally said out of their own mouths. FDR was just Stalin light. He imprisoned thousands of Japanese Americans and Italian Americans for the crime of their ancestors coming from countries we were at war with. Yeah, it's a wild thing to have done. The internment camps were definitely a stain. And we have, apparently, somebody mentioned this the other day. There was apparently some weird tribal warfare stuff going on in Somalia, and now we're kind of dealing with that. Ilhan Ohmar went into a full rage, lashing out after other Somalian clans refused to back her clansmen, Fateh, and instead voted for Jacob Frey, calling for rival clans to be expelled and pushed out, especially since they were translating her Somalian-speaking videos to the American audience. Minnesota politics are turning into a Somalian primitive clan war. When a Somalian person becomes an enemy, they become a serious one. There are people like that living right here in our city. We all see them. Some of us try to dismiss it, saying, oh, that person just talks too much. It doesn't mean anything. Or leave them alone. That's my relative. You probably met them in coffee shops. You know exactly the kind of people I'm talking about. You've sat with them in Starbucks. Maybe you've seen them at the mosque once in a while. Maybe you've gone to parties together. You know who I mean. You've seen them. We need to get rid of these people. We will never gain power and move forward as Somalians as long as these people live among us and we don't kick them out. The same people, Somalians, we try to defend, they're the ones who want to see us in jail, who spread lies about us, who make videos claiming we said things we never said. And when that happens, there's no way to defend ourselves. I can't keep saying all day, I didn't say that, because I've got work to do. We're busy doing our job defending you, Somalians, protecting this country, creating laws. I can't waste every day fighting against accusations of what they accuse me I said on videos. That's your responsibility and your job to not welcome those people who work to block and undermine Somalians in this country from gaining power or having influence. So why is it okay for her to say that certain Somalians should be expelled and should be removed and shouldn't be allowed to be here, but when Americans say that maybe we shouldn't have quite as much migration, that's apparently a bad thing. Jacob Frey apparently beat Ohmar Fateh in Minneapolis by exploiting Somali clan divisions. On Somali TikTok, this guy is taking advantage of tribal politics. We are too easy. This guy, he understands how to divide our people.
Whether you are from Galmudug or Getaway.
Look at that smug fucking face. He's like, I know how to play you like a fiddle. I know that you guys are tribal and I can fucking exploit that. Hell yeah, brother. Oh my God.
You are from Minneapolis. Whether you are from Bosaso or Mogadishu, you are from Minneapolis. Whether you are from Hargeisa, Somaliland,
You can kind of respect how blatant it is. It's so disgusting, man.
Or Nairobi, you are from Minneapolis. In Minneapolis, we love you. In Minneapolis, we embrace unity. And in Minneapolis, this is a place where we are proud to call it home. Mahat said it. Thank you so much.
What did he just call me?
Or Southwest.
Oh. Absolutely ridiculous, man. Absolutely silly. Jacob Frey actually won a large section of the Somali community. There was huge division on clan lines.
How are you? Good to see you, my man. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Hello, how are you? Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, you got it. You got it. We'll see you soon.
That's wild that he's walking around in Minneapolis and he's not like in a different country.
Farid, Boca Magala, Minneapolis.
I know. Coming down. All right.
You hate it, but you can respect it. It's so
when I have friends
slimy.
visit from out of town, of course I tell them to go check out the Stone Arch Bridge. But one of the other things I say to go see is the Somali Mall. There's nothing like it virtually anywhere else. The color, the activity, just the sheer scope. I mean, I'm a little biased because I'm the mayor of Minneapolis and it's here, but this rivals Mall of America every day of the week.
Hey, my man, how you doing? It's good to see you, buddy. Yeah. I feel like I get neck hair. Yeah. You have that problem? I get neck hair before I get the head hair. I just need to get my neck shaved.
What?
Mohammed? He's operating those clippers with precision. But if your face is framed up well, you look good.
Mayor of
My wife will love
Somaliapolis.
Yo, how you doing?
What's this other thing here? Victory Inshallah from King Somali? I don't know what this is. Come to Minneapolis, eat with your hands. I thought that was NYC. This reminds you of the white man Egyptian pharaoh meme. There's nothing like anywhere else. Pretty confident. There's plenty like that in Somalia. He gives a Beto O'Rourke energy and you hate it. I absolutely hate what he's doing, and he's so smarmy and grotesque, but it is very politician-y. It is a very politician, like this is what I would expect of a politician, you know? Actually gross. Actually gross to see. Boston's once ritzy Back Bay neighborhood, now so rough, Lululemon store was ransacked twice in an hour. That makes me sad, because I'm pretty sure Mike's Pastries is in the Back Bay. Back Bay used to be a nice place. Used to be able to just kind of walk around there. You know, no big deal, no problem. Boston neighborhood that was once known for its opulent appeal has gone completely downhill after a Lululemon store was robbed twice within hours, according to police. High-end athletic apparel store in Back Bay, a picturesque shopping and dining location, was ransacked on Sunday inside the city's Prudential Center around 4:30 p.m. The Boston Police Department told the Daily Mail. Store manager reported seeing a black adult male wearing Wow, I'm surprised they said the race. Wearing glasses, black pants, black skull hoodie, and backpack, steal a slew of merchandise, including 4 hoodies, a pair of pants, and a pair of crew socks. The suspect ran out with $634 worth of items. Police, who failed to locate the man, said in a report. It seems like a lot for like, I mean, maybe it's more than what they listed, but like 4 hoodies, a pair of pants, and a pair of socks, $634. That's crazy. That's crazy. Just an hour later, the exact same storefront was targeted again. Officers responded to the Lululemon around 8 p.m. after a group of 3 to 4 suspects stole 6 black Wonder Puff jackets, which are valued at $350 each, the report stated. They also grabbed an unknown amount of shirts, leggings, and pants. The total valuation of all items taken came out to around $4,000. No arrests have been made in the second incident, and both remain under investigation. News of the back-to-back robberies comes weeks after rampant theft in the Ritzy area. A group of people ran into another Lululemon store in Massachusetts City on October 13th, just after 7 p.m. or in the Massachusetts City, my bad. On October 13th, just after 7 p.m., stealing armfuls of merchandise. According to police, a total of 4 suspects grabbed clothing off racks and fled the store with $6,140 worth of items. And this is why this is going to keep happening. This fucking blue bullshit box on the side. Lululemon is slammed for firing staff who confronted masked thieves as they brazenly ransacked Georgia's store and dashed out with armfuls of pricey yoga gear because they broke employee policy. If you fire your employees for attempting to stop people from running out of the store when they're stealing, that signals to people who wish to steal from your store that they can just do it and get away with it. What is this fucking nonsense? Surveillance footage also captured the group in the criminal act as employees and customers watched on. Lululemon isn't the only shop that's been hit by thieves, as another popular athletic clothing store was targeted in recent weeks. A group of 5 female robbers who were branded repeat offenders by police ran into an Alo yoga store in the Prudential Center around 6:30 p.m. on October 18th and stole a boatload of items. I used to just wander around the Prudential Center. The Prudential Center was like a really fucking safe area, man. Like, this is actually insane to be reading about. Why is there a group of 5 female robbers who are repeat offenders still out on the street being able to continue doing this? Why are the Boston police incredibly corrupt? And why is Boston allowing anything like this to continue happening? Actually fucking crazy. Companies don't want to be seen as encouraging it because their employees can get hurt or killed. At least that's what you were told. Yeah, I would have believed that maybe like 30 years ago. Nowadays, I don't really think that matters. Repeat offenders, repeat offenses. I know, it's so shocking. It's so shocking. One of the suspected shoplifters even kicked a store employee, police said. If you're getting robbed, like if I was in a store as a clerk and I was getting robbed, I would just assume the people robbing are not above causing physical violence up to even death to me. So the fact that it would be store policy anywhere that employees can't detain the people until police arrive, employees can't engage these people in any way, is just crazy to me. It's just crazy to me. It endangers all of us. It really does. And I don't know how anyone sees the employer, and like thankfully again, like Lululemon is facing backlash for this, but this has been going on for decades where if you try to stop someone from stealing, you get typically terminated. Like, it's very rare that a company actually celebrates an employee that does something like this. And it doesn't make sense to me. It just feels like another like slope on the decline of you shouldn't care about people around you, and if you do the right thing, instead of being hailed as a hero, we will do everything possible to ruin your life. It's insanity. Then in September, another Lululemon store was robbed by 2 females, one of which was caught pushing a baby stroller in the photo shared by police. The woman, one described as a thin black woman and the other as a short Hispanic female, stole around $700 in merchandise. Insanity, man. It is unclear if all of the incidents are connected or not. The surge in shoplifting has rattled the community, but according to Ryan Kearney, Boston isn't the only place experiencing it. Kearney, the vice president and general counsel of the Retailers Association of Massachusetts, told NBC 10 Boston, "We've had an increase in shoplifting across the board, across the nation. That's no different here in Massachusetts. When you have stores penalizing employees, when you have police refusing to make arrests, when you have repeat offenders out on the street time after time after time, when you have DAs that won't actually do anything about the criminals, when you have judges that will hand out light sentences or no sentences at all, we don't have a rule of law. It's literally no wonder that there's increases literally everywhere, especially in corrupt blue hellholes that have been allowing these criminals to do this with impunity." Like, it's not confusing, it's not shocking. It's what you should expect when you have this kind of environment. And it's wild that if you want to fix this, somehow you are the problem. Every city at this point needs a Batman, probably several Batmen. Bring on the Batmen! So I can oogle their bulges. Anthony, thank you. We need to go back to removing hands for stealing. Maybe Islam has a few good points after all. He went on to discuss the October Lululemon theft, stating that employees did exactly what they were trained to do. Not get involved in the incident. Be the best witness you can be, Kearney added. According to him, thieves are targeting trending items that can be resold fast. The target is items that are easily resellable and have high demand. And that's what those types of items are being stolen recently seem to be. But they're just poor people who need food. They're stealing because they're socioeconomically disadvantaged. Meanwhile, City Councillor Ed Flynn has had enough with the theft in the city. We need to ensure that we have zero tolerance for anyone stealing anything, he said. We have to have more police, also in the area, in the neighborhoods, a better response time from the police as well. But also, there has to be some criminal justice reform to deal with the ongoing retail theft. Not that I give a shit about Lululemon, but I'm sure that there are mom and pop shops that also experience consistent theft, but they don't really get talked about because they don't have the brand recognition that something like Lululemon does. And so I can only imagine if you're a mom and pop shop, if you're someone who is in this area trying to make a living with your family, how scary this kind of environment could be. K-Boy, thank you. To hell with Batman. Let's get us some Judge Dredd's. Just last year, the Boston Police Department launched the Safe Shopping Initiative alongside the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office. The city-led program aims to reduce shoplifting in a bid to protect businesses and its employees by cracking on violent and repeat offenders. I'll believe it when it actually fucking happens and you aren't just paying lip service. The Safe Shopping Initiative is exactly the right start for us for downtown, I think, in time for Back Bay and the rest of the city. It's going to pay dividends. Michael Nichols, president of Downtown Boston Alliance, told the outlet. Still, Nichols said there's a lot of room for improvement. The legislature many years ago actually significantly increased the felony theft threshold from something like $250 at a time to $1,200. So the penalties for someone stealing $800, $900, $1,000 worth of product actually went down over the last several years. And I think it's time to return back to the threshold we were at before. This is what soft on crime policies will get you. This is what people in positions of political power who do not give a shit about the actual constituents and will put illegals and criminals above people who actually live there and need to make a living there. This is infuriating every time you read about it. And politicians will do absolutely nothing. Do you have any idea, like, how wild it would be if there were able to have some sort of conservative person running for mayor in Boston and actually get enough support, even if they didn't win, but to even get, like, close to touching a Democrat, considering how long this has been a stronghold? They go over the threshold anyway, and they still manage to never get jail for it. Yeah, why would they? Yeah, why would they? You love the Back Bay to have to read this headline in 2025? Yeah. Like, I spent so much of my time walking around Boston when I was younger. Like, it's incredibly depressing to just see how far this city has fallen.